Hey folks, and welcome to my review of the SoundPEATS Life. These are a hybrid true wireless, so they actually have active noise cancellation and transparency mode or ambient mode or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, as usual, full disclaimers, I'd like to thank SoundPEATS themselves for sending it out to me, so thank you very much. I was not paid to do this video, and all thoughts and opinions are my own. And by now I've tried a few of the products from SoundPEATS. They've all been pretty good. They've all been quite different themselves. And for example, like the 3.2 Classic is actually pretty good tuning. But yeah. Anyway, let's just get into it. So a few features of what these have. So they have a 12mm driver, which is quite big actually. Sound Plus for clear calls. I will do a microphone test in a bit. Active noise cancellation and the transparency mode, like I said. Just some company information there. Hear your imagination. There's some geezer wearing them. So specs version 5.2. It is AAC and SBC, I think. Frequency range here. The standard 10 meters. Playtime 5 hours. We'll have to see if that is with the battery, with the ANC on or off or whatever like that. And some info there. It's got the standard size kind of box on them. There's an app there, and with the functions of the app. So there's that. Now, slight spoiler, I've been using these. So these little things here, these were covering the battery kind of connectors on the buds themselves. So you have to obviously take them off. It came in that as well. Comes with a guide, which I'll run over in the next clip. So in here should be, so tips, so small, medium and large. Mediums are on it. And quite a short charge cable. You may already have your own kind of cable, because many people have the Type-C these days. So here's what it looks like. So there's the emblem. LED for the battery life. Nothing really on the bottom. Charge in the back. Say they're trying to pair. You can reset the connection there. Obviously, I'll go over that in a bit. And this is just like one of them looks like. Standard tips, obviously. L connectors there. That's touch controls. It's very sensitive. And that's it. So obviously them two are both the same, obviously. So in the next clip I'm going to go over the guide. Then the clip after that will be a microphone test, and then on to my review. So here's the standard user guide from SoundPEATS, which are very straightforward. Comes in. So that's 7 languages. Obviously I'm English, so how to pair. A lot. Again, all this is straightforward. So, how to reset them, how to wear them, the actual controls. That's the visual way, or you can have the text way, shall we say. There's no previous track button, if you've noticed. So volume up, down, single tap, next track. So there's no previous track. Play, pause. MFB stands for multifunction button, if you didn't know. Manually pair, voice assistant, game mode, how to go between the modes themselves, the colours, basically saying what the battery level is, kind of Q&A's there, FCC statement, and then into German. So that's very straightforward. So in the next clip I'll be a microphone test, then on to my review. So this is a microphone test of the SoundPEATS Life. This is just me speaking at a normal speaking volume in a quiet room. I've got my PC running in the background. And this is what it sounds like. So welcome to my review section of the SoundPEATS Life. So let's just get straight into battery life, as it's obviously very important, and it's a negative on this. So the max you're going to get with ANC on is 4.5 to maybe 5 hours at a very, very maximum, depends on volume level. Now, it really should be better, but it is what it is, unfortunately. And the battery life of the actual case is you can charge them maybe 4 and a bit times, so just bear that in mind. Obviously it's type C, and they only take about an hour and a half, at 90 minutes-ish to charge up, so that's not too bad at all. And yeah, just another quick look over. So here's the case, kind of rugged plastic texture, no wireless charging. The button there, you can use it to reset and pair them and stuff like that. So very straightforward. So connection wise, these use Bluetooth 5.2, super easy to pair. Now for me to pair to another device, I had to hold that down for a couple of seconds. Then it puts it in pair mode, super easy to do. And the connection between them both as well, it was very, very good, as in like perfect. And you can use each one individually as well to save time. So yeah, not too bad at all. Very, very good with that. Does exactly what it's supposed to do. And yes, so microphone, as you just heard before, I think they sound pretty good. I was quite happy with it. And you can these are really good set for phone calls, and I probably will be using them from now on for phone calls and try to get something else. But yeah, phone calls fine. They said I sound fine, and they sound fine from my end, so it's all good really. So no problem at all. Water resistance is IPX4, which is enough really, because these are a more affordable set. So yeah, not too bad at all. So here's a look at just a look over them. So very straightforward. Touch control. So yeah, so controls. So touch control there. So a negative of these is if you're handling these, it's very easy to press a button by accident. So you have to bear that in mind. And they don't do a previous track command. They don't do that, which is it's not always a big deal. Depends if that's a big deal for you. That may make or break it for yourself. But for me, it's not really a big issue. But yeah, that's the controls on the side. So yeah, comfort on these is fine. They're not big units. That's a 12mm DD in there, but they made it further back, so it's not really a problem. But comfort on these is fine. That's what they look like. There's the charge, connectors. And that's pretty much it. They only come in black as well, so it's not really a problem. So the function of these is why you'd have them, or why you'd buy these, is active noise cancellation and ambient mode. Now I found they do work fine for both. They're not amazing, and obviously the ANC does kill more like the high frequencies, but if there's a strong gust of wind or a higher frequency, it does get through. This more like, it seems to like remove more mid tones and deeper tones, really. So yeah, the actual ambient mode, or whatever you want to call it, transparency mode, does work fine. I've heard better, but they do cost a lot more. But I did find them very clear. For them, it does work very well overall. They're not amazing, but it works more than good enough. So I was actually quite happy with them. And yeah, so more of the sound parts now. So imaging, average at best, to be honest. Same for like stage, average like at best. I'd want a bit more stage, but it is what it is, unfortunately. And yeah, so let's talk about sound really. So the graph's a funky one, so let's have a look. So here's the graph, and as you can see, let's go left to right. So bass, there's a lot of it, as you can see. So it's a big, you can see the big bump. So these are consumer tuned, so for people who want a bass hit. Now the bass, I find, does dominate more than everything else. Now you can see there's a big dip at the like 200 hertz. Now it gives the illusion of the bass is more separate from the music, from like the rest of the frequency range, which in theory it does. But if you've got anything that sits in that low end part, it's really recessed, as you can imagine. and the sub bass does roll off. As you can see, these are more of a bass hit, and there's probably too much of it, so you have to bear that in mind. So the bass is a bit weird. Obviously this isn't the first, there's another model, I think the Air 3 Pro, I think it is. There's one of these with the silicon tips, and it's tuned this kind of the same. So that's what SoundPEATS want from the low end. But I had a friend of mine try these, and he actually liked it a lot, and he said that bass suited him, and he's only a consumer, so bear that in mind. But that's what the bass looks like. So mid-range, like I've shown before, it does that weird kind of drop off at the lower part, then it's neutral, then it shoots up. So female vocals are forward. Now some male vocals are clear and some aren't clear, so it's a bit of a funny one with that funny kind of bass, but it is what it is. And a few genres I did try it actually sounds fine. I think it all depends on what your library is. It may or may not be a difference, but and then obviously like I said, the female vocals sound alright. It's, as you can see, it does shoot up quite a bit, so they are clear. So straight into treble. Now before I get to the sound, instrument separation was okay. I wish it could have been better, maybe because the DD is quite big. It may or may not be a difference. But you can see the lower part is elevated, probably a touch too much for what I personally want. I prefer more balance. But any instruments that sit in that lower treble, the presence region, are clear. But then it does drop off quite a bit, which is a bit of a shame. So they are, in a way, quite treble shy. And they don't have the air that some of these do. But on the whole, if you had not seen that graph, these do sound okay. It looks worse than it actually sounds, if that's what you know what I mean. But the graph is not a good representation of the sound, but it is what it is, and it suits. Like if you like me, I like electronic music mainly, and that tuning kind of suits it because it gives you the bass hit, and there's enough treble region there for it to sound fun. But for other genres, it might not suit it at all, so you just have to bear that in mind. And yeah, I think that I don't want to go into too much. I think I've covered all the bases. One thing, there's an app for these, but you have to log in to use it, so I didn't try that. I don't really like when apps do that. So there's an app, no idea what it's like. So conclusion, do I recommend these? Yes, overall, for what these are designed for, they do work okay. I would have preferred the tuning to be a bit more balanced and more battery life. But apart from that, these do everything well. With the ANC off, the battery life is good enough. It could be better, but the sound obviously needs a bit of work. But on the whole, it doesn't sound as bad as it looks. That's one thing to note. But the microphone core quality is good. The fit's good. The build quality is good. The Bluetooth connection is good. The ANC and transparency modes do work well. As you say, the stability is good. There's also a gaming mode, and the latency I think is 60 something milliseconds, which could be a bit better. But I only did very, very minimal testing because I don't use gaming on cell phones or nothing, so just bear that in mind. But on the whole, they do work. They do work okay. It just needs the sound and the battery life is the only negative parts for this, but the rest of what Bluetooth TWS is for, they do work fine. They're not a bad set, it's just those two parts let it down a bit. And I think that's pretty much it. I won't muffle on now because it's already like 9.5 minutes for this section. So if there's anything in particular about these, let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.